Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Danielle Gray, and I am a manifestation and mindset coach, transformational teacher, and spiritual mentor here on YouTube and amongst the interwebs. Welcome to my first ever vlog episode. So for those of you who are unaware, I and my family, my husband and my son and I, are relocating to Nicaragua in 8 days, actually. And I've been meaning to start this vlog series for a while because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, I know that a lot of my clients, students, followers, people in my life, even family members, are interested to know how we made the decision, why we made the decision, the process that we went through to get where we are, the process it's been to get ready to go, the thought process involved. And another reason is I do believe that by preparing to record these vlog episodes, I've had more motivation to really be present with the process. I mean, I definitely know that I have been present with the process and processing my emotions and present with the whole thing anyway, but I do know that I have made an extra point to reflect even more deeply and more carefully so that I can bring that information here to you, because this is a huge testament to leaning into the fear. Okay. And I'm going to, over the course of the vlog series, you're going to learn what exactly I mean by that. But I wanted to start here with kind of an intro and just how, when, why we decided and what the decision-making process was to do something like that. Because right now I'm recording this from the west coast of Canada. We live in Maple Ridge, which is about 45, depending on how fast you're driving, minutes from the hub, downtown Vancouver. And I am currently recording this on the floor of where my former office was, which is in the back corner of our master bedroom in the basement suite of my parents-in-law's house, which is where we've been for the past 13 years. So you can imagine all of the stuff we've accumulated and all it took to get ready to move. So I don't really know where the best place to start is, so I'm just going to start. So my husband and I started dating last Friday, actually, was our 13th dating anniversary. And tomorrow is our 10th wedding anniversary. And our son is 6.5. He was born in January of 2016. And that whole relationship baby process is a story in itself. And I'll probably come on here and share it one day because it is truly magical. I definitely manifested all of that and my life up until this point, and obviously manifesting this move and so on. But so long story short, we've been in the basement suite of my parents-in-law's house. When we started dating, they offered this space to us and we just stayed. And I'll be very honest with you. And I said, again, I'll get into this in a future episode, but I will be very honest with you and say that we just got comfortable and wanted to stay. And my parents-in-law, for the most part, were not even charging us rent. So we just got comfortable being comfortable. And over the course of the last few years, we've become less and less comfortable. But also, and again, I'll talk about this in a separate episode, but we also at some point fell into quite a financial strain. I went into entrepreneurship. My husband had to leave his job for medical reasons. And through a whole series of events, I was basically resisting my own success, and I dug us into quite the financial hole. Ate through all of our savings, racked up all of our debt. It was a bad situation. I'm not going to lie to you. And so I was forced to actually take a job. I was there for 13 months and I left that job again, September 15th, 2020. And I've been fully self-employed since then. And it's been a roller coaster ride, as entrepreneurship can be. But anyway, so over the last few years, we've evolved and grown as people, as a couple, as a family. And then of course, I mean, I don't want to really talk about this on this channel, but I can't help ignore the current, or, kind of resolving situation we've been in, the situation I call it, really opened our eyes to a lot of things. And So, and that's not really, it wasn't really a deciding factor for us. We've actually been talking about moving somewhere for quite some time. Actually, it was funny. We were reflecting, looking at a vision board I made at the beginning of 2019 when we were still talking about possibly moving to Costa Rica, which is just south of Nicaragua. And so on my vision board, there's waterfalls of Costa Rica on my vision board, symbolic of not only abundance, but also, the flow of abundance, but also, traveling and potentially relocating. We've also talked about moving to Vancouver Island. We've also talked about moving to the Kootenays interior area of BC. We've talked about a lot of things over a lot of time. But my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, older sister, and her husband decided on Nicaragua quite some time ago. And the reason they landed on Nicaragua, just so everybody's clear, is basically because they actually fell in love with Costa Rica, as many people do. But they found that Costa Rica was very Americanized, and the parameters to stay within residency, run a business, etc., were quite a bit higher and more stringent than in Nicaragua. For example, when they started talking about it, so we started looking into it as well. The I'm going to call it the buy-in to be able to gain residency and work in Costa Rica was 200 grand American and only 30 grand American for Nicaragua. So, and the landscape is basically the same, right? Like the jungle is basically the same. The foliage is basically the same. The flora and fauna is basically the same. It's just that Nicaragua is less developed and so less Americanized as well, which some people would say that that's a turn off, but we actually think it's a turn on, because we really find over the last couple of years that where we live specifically, and just the first world countries in general, Canada, US, most of the well-developed, commercialized consumerism, materialism places in the world are very fast paced, and everyone is so stressed out, anxious, focused on what they have to do next. Not a lot of people are living in the present moment. And like I said a few minutes ago, my husband and I are very much more focused on living in the present moment than we have ever been. And I will fully admit, I used to be a go, 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 full anxiety, full stress, plugged into the matrix, stuck in the system, believed employment was the only way to make a good living because it was secure and all this, the bullshit that we were fed, right? Again, another topic for another day. But so they chose Nicaragua, and they actually are in the process of building and starting an off-grid, vegan, adults only boutique resort on 7.5 acres of jungle up on a mountaintop, hilltop in Nicaragua, just outside San Juan del Sur. And they have an amazing view of not only the ocean, but also on the other side of Ometepe, which is a very well-known, if you're into the spiritual hippie kind of a thing, place to be. And it's an active volcano actually too, which is really, really cool. They actually one time sent us a video of, they zoomed in of it erupting from their place. Really cool. So they have been in the process of building this place now they've been there for, I want to say about 3.5 years or so, give or take. I don't know if I have my dates totally correct, but anyway, they've been sharing their process with us and their move and their experience and how the lifestyle is and how much happier they are. And of course the challenges too. Like, one thing I do really admire and love about my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law is they have not sugarcoated any of it, and for good reason. I mean, what's the point in doing that if we get there and find out that they've been lying to us? I mean, that's not going to turn out very well, right? So they've been very honest about, like, if you want to order something from Amazon, you need to be prepared to wait 4 weeks for it because it's got to come from Miami to Managua, and then you got to go pick it up and whatever. There's a whole process, right? You just adapt to it. And they've been, honest about the weather and how hot it can be and how, muddy it can get and how, undeveloped the roads are and how the government system works and all of that stuff, right? They've been very, very open and honest with us. So of course we took all of that into consideration. And so, but they're very happy where they are. And so around the beginning of this year, we started really talking to them about coming and joining them in Nicaragua. They were in the process of they had when they bought their land, their 7.5 acres, they built a small, I believe it's 450 square feet casita that they were planning on it being used for long-term rental, one of the first long-term rental spots in the resort. And then they were living in there while they developed the rest of the property. Now it's off grid, right? So they've got solar panels, they've got cisterns of water, they've got, they're fully self-sustainable. The resort's also going to include a cafe, a gym. They're putting in the pool right now, a bar. And of course, they are going to live, their house is finished. They've just moved into their house. And then they've got 2 rental suites underneath. Maybe it's only 1. It doesn't matter. I forget that. I haven't been there, so I don't know. I haven't seen it logistically yet. But anyway, I feel like it's 2 at the bottom, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so they were saying, we're going to be done with the casita pretty quick, and we're going to be ready to rent that out and start getting some rental income from that. And then we started talking more seriously about going down and just being, it all adds up, right? Being increasingly unsatisfied with the way life is where we are, and being increasingly drawn to a place where life just slows down, right? Actually, my sister-in-law is here visiting right now to see her grandfather. And then she goes home on the 7th, and then we follow her on the 9th of September. At the time of recording, this is September 1st, 2020. So she's here right now. And I asked her, she hasn't been to Western civilization at all in at least 3 years. And I asked her, what's your experience been so far being back for a couple of days? And the first thing she said was, everything is very fast. Everyone is in a hurry. There's no real sense of community or getting to know each other. Like when she's at home in Nicaragua, you walk in somewhere, you say, hi, how are you? You kind of, have a bit of a small conversation. You get to know the people in your community and the people who are tourists versus, business owners and things like that. You make friends with those people and you develop relationships with them. And she said that her and her husband go to this place called Machetes every Friday for pizza, because they do pizza night or something there. And she said it's gotten to the point where if she doesn't come on a Friday, the owner will send her a text and go, where are you? Like, why didn't you come by? So, you're just developing those relationships, right? It's just something you don't get here. And plus, I mean, if you were offered to come and live in not only just like a random country with a random person, but if a family member said, hey, I've got this casita that I'm willing to rent to you for a fraction of what I'm going to be asking anybody else to rent. Like basically we're just going to be paying to cover what it costs to run the casita, basically, right? Including Wi-Fi. We're going to have access to the gym. I don't know if normally the person renting the casita would have access to all of this stuff, but we will because we're family and we have a son. And if so, of course, the adults only thing is, she's making an exception for family. But anyway, so it would be crazy for us to say no and at least not give it a try, right? So that's some of how we decided we were going to go, was through conversations just back and forth and asking them tons and tons and tons of questions. Like, what happens if this? How do you do that? How do you do your banking? What happens when you need to make, how do you deal with the phone calls? How do you deal with grocery delivery? And my sister-in-law and brother-in-law are vegan. We are not vegan, although I do see us converting kind of to I wouldn't say fully plant-based, because we do still love seafood. I still, I love my tacos and all that stuff, but I can see us doing definitely more plant-based, like the majority being plant-based. She's even got a food for us. She's growing all kinds of fruits and vegetables and spices and all kinds of things on the property there. So we would be crazy to say no. We would be crazy to not at least go and give it a go. And so for me, I can't really speak to the decision process for my husband, but for me, I did definitely flip-flop back and forth about, do I want to? Do I not want to? Is this a good idea? Is it not? And I will say, I'll be very, very honest and transparent. When we were originally making these decisions, my husband and I were still, when we were first considering it, we were still smoking pot quite a bit. And I would find that some of the time it would be really good and I'd be really excited, but some of the time after we would partake, I would be very paranoid and think, oh my God, what are we doing? We can't do this. This is crazy. What are we thinking? So we had to stop doing that because I just couldn't. I mean, among other reasons why we decided to stop doing it, it stopped being fun for us anyway. It doesn't matter. Sorry, the neighbors are making some kind of noise. Anyway, so oh, shoot. Well, hopefully I can skip that out. I had part of what I've been working on the last couple of days and why I'm home today while my sister-in-law and son and husband are out having fun is because we are in the process of selling all of our stuff, and people are dropping by to pick up what they've purchased through bidding sites and Facebook Marketplace and whatever. And I will talk about that actual process in a different video because that's a process in itself. Anyway, so since I didn't successfully hit and rebroadcast, I will see if I can, I don't know, I'll edit out the chunk where I got up and walked away. Anyway, I don't know what I was moving. I forget where I was. Anyway, I'm just going to pick back up and hopefully it makes sense. So welcome to the world of vlogging, I guess. So anyway, it would be silly for us not to take advantage and go down and give it a go. And then, so for me, like, oh, that's what I was saying. For me, the process, I can't really speak to the process for my husband, but the process for me was, really weighing the pros and the cons. And I will say it was a great test in what you focus on expands, right? Because of course, if I really wanted to find more reasons that it was not a good idea to go, I would have been able to do that. Definitely, but I really do want to go. So I was able to just focus on all the reasons it made sense to go. And actually, a woman that I follow, her name is Melanie Ann Layer. She has this quote or saying or whatever that goes, live your life the way you want to be able to tell the story in hindsight. So I really do lean into that. And I think to myself, how would I want to tell the story? Do I want to tell the story? Oh, well, my sister-in-law offered for us to come and live in Nicaragua with her. And, and I don't know where that's going to take us ultimately. Maybe we'll stay in Nicaragua. Maybe we'll go somewhere else. Maybe we'll buy a house. Maybe we'll build something on her property. Maybe we'll buy the adjacent property and build our own house. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. And I actually kind of love it. But, what's a better story? My sister-in-law offered us to come and go on the adventure of a lifetime. And we said yes and leaned into it and just did it scared and did it without having ever been there and did it without speaking the language. And we just went for it. Or my sister-in-law offered us this opportunity, but we were too scared and didn't go and just decided to stay where we were and stay uncomfortable and stay safe in our little basement suite. Like, not a good story, right? And, and also I figured this is a really good opportunity for me to practice what I preach, which is, lean into the universe, lean into the faith that what you want and what you're after and the life that you're trying to create for yourself is for you. And you have to just lean in and trust that everything is going to work out exactly the way that it's supposed to, and even better, right? And then, funnily enough, I have been listening to various tarot, oracle card readings, zodiac sign readings, horoscopes, pick a card kind of pile things on YouTube here. A couple of the girls I really like to follow are White Feather Tarot, Star Girl the Practical Witch, The Gem Goddess, Kino Tarot. And if there's a way that I can link all of those below in the description, I will, because they're all fantastic. And for me, the readings are always just so on point. And I remember, like it was yesterday, it was February, and I found this, it was a pick a pile, pick a number, whatever, from Star Girl the Practical Witch. And it was, I forget the title of the video, but something about a message from your older self or your future self, or you as an old person or something like that. Right. Because I remember it was like a letter that my old self had written to my current, or my future old version of me self wrote a letter to me currently. And I remember in the letter, future me said, the pile that I have goosebumps as I think about it. The pile that I picked, future me said, was telling me about how my life was and how it was like, she said that she was picking up that I was like in my late 70s, early 80s. And my husband and I were based somewhere tropical by the ocean that had palm trees. and that we were motorhoming around, but our home base was somewhere with palm trees by the ocean. And so I thought, well, if that's ultimately where I'm going to end up anyway, and just by the way, the reason I follow these particular people is because their readings end up like the short-term ones that you can then look back at the reading and go, okay, that was really scarily accurate. Or as she's talking, she's saying, some of them will do, it's like what do they call it? Like an energy reading. So they'll go off on a bit of a riff at the beginning of the reading to say, this is how you can confirm that this pile is for you. And they'll kind of go into detail about how you're feeling currently or what you've been through recently so that you can confirm that you're like listening to the right reading. And it's scarily accurate. So that's why I trust these particular readings. You obviously have to be careful with online psychics and stuff like that. But these are, they are meant for entertainment purposes only, but they are scarily accurate. These are full on intuitives, light workers that are using their gifts for good on YouTube, right? So I thought, okay, well, if that's where we're going to end up, then why am I delaying the inevitable? Like, what is there really to be scared of? And then ultimately I was thinking, worst case scenario, like, let's say we get there and it's terrible. We'll just come back or go somewhere else, right? Like, and at this point now in the game, this is February. We decided about mid to end of February. And the first thing we did was sell our motorhome, which was basically our biggest asset at the time. So we sold that. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, right? We've been kind of selling our stuff off since then. And it's been going really, really well. We had kind of a number in mind that we wanted to hit, and we did hit that, which is amazing. And everything has just lined up so beautifully. And in another video, I'm going to talk about how specifically some of the things that we've been, the signs and synchronicities that we've been receiving that have confirmed that we're going in the right direction every single day, basically. But that's kind of how we decided, or how I decided at least, because my husband was all in before I was, and I was still kind of iffy about it. And, there was other factors to consider, like the school that my son was in. He just finished kindergarten, or he was in kindergarten still at the time. So we thought, okay, well, we can't go until the end of the school year, at least, because I don't want to take him out of school right now. Plus my sister-in-law and brother-in-law weren't ready for us. They were still living in the casita. They only moved out of there into their house, their new big main house, maybe like 2 weeks ago. Not even. So they weren't ready for us anyway, but my son's school is a really, really good school, and there is notoriously a wait list for it. And, when we got him into kindergarten at that school, because once you're in a school, I don't know how it works where you are, but where we are, once you're in the school, you're in the school. Like, you've got a spot all the way to grade 7 if that's where you choose to stay. And so I marked, kindergarten registration. I marked it on my calendar. I had a timer in my phone. I was on the website registration opened at 10 a.m. So I was right on my computer right at 9:55. I watched the little countdown go right to 0. I had all my information ready to go. I registered him for school. By 10:15, he was registered for kindergarten. And, of course, I manifested him a spot in this school, and it's so full that even kids like across the street, living in the condos across the street, can't get into the school. It's so full. So, which is not necessarily a good thing. I just mean I was hesitant to give his spot up at the school. But also, and I'll talk about this in another video where we talk about how we decided to homeschool Dominic for grade 1. The further down the spiritual path I go, the less and less aligned I am with the traditional school system, because in my humble opinion, the school system is cranking out employees. Like, it's breeding employees. It's grooming you to be a servant of the system, right? So anyway, I'll get into that in another video. But anyway, I'm not saying my son won't go back to public school at some point. We are going to take the year while we're homeschooling him to research other options, like the private schools, the day schools, and other options, and just see what the best option is. It's hard to do research like that from this far away. And for grade 1, it just doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but we did do a lot of research. And like I said, I'll talk about that in a separate video. But so we decided in February we were going to go. And after we sold our first couple of things, we went and we told my parents right away, because I wanted to start talking about it on social media to my following, but I also didn't want them to find out about it on social media. So we went over to their house and told them about our move, and they were not happy about it, but it is what it is, right? And then we told my husband's parents quite a bit later on. We were hesitant to say anything because we weren't sure how they were going to react. But anyway, so that was the kind of the decision-making process for us, was kind of weighing the pros and cons. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of open communication. One thing I will say that's come out of this process is my husband and I have really stepped up our communication game. Well, me more so than him. He's always been a good communicator, me not so much. But it really is forcing me to be very open and honest with myself with how I feel, and with him with how I feel, and in turn with you with how I feel. And which is one of the reasons I decided to do this vlog series, is to be just open and vulnerable and let you see what it looks like to make such a life-altering decision, and just really leaning into the fear and the unknown of it all. Because like I said, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. I've never even been to Nicaragua. I don't know. I mean, I know it's going to be amazing. I know this whole next chapter is going to be amazing, but I don't know what the future looks like. This is the first time ever I really have no solid plan. And yet the plan is to just see how good it gets to be. Just like let the universe surprise and delight us, right? So anyway, so this is your invitation to follow along the process. Like I said, I'm going to be recording several more vlog episodes, just kind of explaining the process leading up. I'm going to go into things like how we decided to homeschool my son and why, how we've navigated around the outside opinions about what we're doing, the full practice of leaning into the faith, the different signs and synchronicities we've been receiving, and how we've had continuous confirmation that we are going in the right direction. I'm going to do a video about understanding that it's okay to listen to your intuition over anything else, even when it doesn't necessarily seem to make sense. Yeah, I'm just going to go into all the things. And then as I go, as we move, like I said, we're T-minus 8 days here until we go at the time of recording. So I will just continue to go and record and share, and hopefully you want to follow along and hang out with me and watch the process and allow me to be vulnerable with you and let you see what it looks like to, like I say, to make such a life-altering move. And I thought, what better way to record the introduction to this vlog series than from my former office, now sitting on the floor with my computer propped up on one of my son's stools because I sold my desk and my desk chair and everything else that I have pretty much at this point, as we pack and move. Actually, to my side here, I've got my clothes that I've set aside that I want to pack. And behind me, I've got a whole bunch of crap that I need to pack. And it's just, I will tell you, relocating, picking up your entire life that you've known for your entire life is a serious trip. I grew up about 35 minutes from where I live now in my parents' house. Of course, my parents' house. I was there from age 13 to 21. Before that, we lived just like maybe 6 or 7 blocks down the street in the house that I grew up with from born to 13. And then I moved out to my husband's place when I was 21, and we were going to go off on our own and rent. And his parents said, no, like, we'll put a suite in for you. It'll be, an excellent place for you guys to, start your lives together. So we're happy to do that. And so we've been here since then. And like I say, I'm not necessarily proud of my decision to stay and lean into the comfort of it, but it is what it is. And I know that that happened for a reason. And I know that we're in the position we're in for a reason. And I know that everything we've been through up until now serves us in some way. And up until now, everything that I've been through has allowed me to be the inspiration and the motivation and the leader that my clients need me to be, and what they need to hear because of the experiences that I've had. So I know that all of that adds up because it's part of my story, so that I have more relatable experiences and points to help and coach and teach from. But so I'm 34 years old. I just turned 34 on the 11th of August. And I have never lived away from parents before. And like I said, I'm not necessarily ashamed of it. I'm not necessarily proud of it either. I'm just saying that's what it is. And I'm just being totally honest with you. I have never lived away from parents before. And I am a parent myself. I don't need parents. It's not about that. It's just, I feel like in a lot of ways, I've been very sheltered from how the world actually works, right? So this is a serious experience for me because, like I say, my husband has lived out on his own several times, several different houses, different scenarios, different people, different apartments, different houses, the whole 9 yards. And I never have. And it's a weird, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. And just the other day, actually, my mother-in-law was talking about all their plans they have for this suite when we leave and how they're going to change it and how they're ultimately thinking about selling the house in a couple of years. And I had a mini panic attack because I thought, oh my God, even though it's kind of funny how your ego works, right? Because even though we would not, I don't want to say never, but I'm like 99% sure we would not come back to this particular place again, knowing that that's not an option gave me a miniature panic attack. Even though, like, at this point, if we don't like where we end up, we're more likely to move somewhere else than we are to come back here. So it's moot anyway, but just, I don't know. It was a weird, I can only relate it to, and I wrote a post about this on Facebook maybe last week. If you've seen the movie Lightyear, the new Buzz Lightyear movie, there's a scene where one of the characters, she's afraid of space, okay? And they're up in space and they're on this space station and she needs to get from one side of the space station to the other. And the only way to do it is to push off from the one door she's leaving and float through space and land at this other door. And so they go into detail earlier in the movie to explain that in space, because there's no gravity, there's no nothing, if you let go of something, whatever direction you're going in, you just keep going in that direction. Like there's nothing to stop you. There's nothing to slow you down. There's nothing to speed you up. You just keep going in that direction until you die or hit something, right? So she's like notably freaked out about it. And then of course I got anxiety from it at the movie because it was like, oh my God, that would be scary. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is because that was really the most relatable thing I could think of when we were having this conversation with my mother-in-law about what she was going to do with this suite. Is like, as soon as we leave here in 8 days, when we push off, I kind of get the sensation, like metaphorically, that we're kind of floating around in space until we feel at home with where we're going. Now, thank God we're going to be with family and, faces we recognize and, people we know and love already, because I honestly don't know if I'd be able to do it if I was doing this by myself, moving to somewhere for the first time, moving out to another country, having to figure out the visa system and all of it by myself. I could see me doing it going forward in the future, having already done it one time, but definitely not for the first time. There's just no way. But to that end, it's funny because one of the things that we were thinking was going to be hard for us to do to leave would be to get rid of all of our stuff. We thought, oh, we've got all this stuff. We've got all these assets. We've got all this, all this stuff tying us down, but it's all just energy, right? And now that we've dwindled down to literally, I've got like the last several things posted in a local bidding group for people to bid on / they're picking up today and tomorrow and over the weekend and so on and so forth until we leave. I realize that one of the hardest parts about making the move is first deciding to move. Like my sister-in-law said to us at one point, it really just comes down to drawing the line in the sand, and you just decide whether you're doing it or not. And you just decide whether you're jumping over that line or not. Like that's really what it is just, not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And some of you might be wondering why we didn't go down to Nicaragua first to check it out and then make a decision and then come back and then sell and then go down. Well, very honestly, I didn't want to give myself a way to opt out again. It would be too easy for us to get back and go, oh yeah, whatever, that's a nice idea. Let's just do it later. We really wanted to go all in. Like all or nothing, line in the sand, we're doing it. So, and we've seen what it's like, I mean, at least through her perspective. So I mean, what am I going to get from going down there that I can't get from just speaking to her and, FaceTiming and looking at the environment and researching online? Like nothing really, except for an easy excuse to not actually go for it, right? So we're just going for it. And it's crazy, but we're doing it. So anyway, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for tuning in to my first ever vlog episode. I hope that you'll hang around and continue to follow me. You probably are going to want to hit the little like button over here. Would be really helpful because that will help other people maybe interested in not even relocating. Like, I guess I should have started with this. One of the reasons why I do want to share this so publicly is, I mean, I realize that not everybody's idea of living their best life includes selling all of their things and moving to the middle of the jungle to live off grid in a developing country. I fully understand that. But what I want to get across in this vlog series and in my work and inside my Facebook group and with my clients and inside my courses and my various offers, what I want to get across to you is, whatever your version of what I'm doing is, so we are literally just pursuing what we feel is going to be the best for us. My husband and I have been talking about living by the ocean for forever. He has had a dream to open a surf shop forever. Now, whether that's actually going to happen or not, I don't know. But this is the closest we've ever been to that. We both prefer summer over winter. We like to be warm instead of cold. Our son is a winter baby, so he does like winter. So I can see us coming back. We are leaving some winter clothes here so we can come back and visit and not be freezing cold. But for the most part, it really does just tick all of the boxes, including the slower pace of life, including the focus on what's important, which is family over material, over consumerism, over all of that, right? And so what I want to get across to you is, I realize that what I'm doing might not be your version of your best life, but the process to pursue whatever that is for you is the same, right? Line in the sand, leaning in with faith, doing it scared, trusting your intuition, negating what other people say about, because everyone's going to have an opinion about whatever you do. So you might as well just do whatever you want to do anyway. And all of that. I want you to understand that what we're doing is our version of living our best life. And although what we're doing may not be suitable for you, I want you to be able to follow along and apply what I'm talking about to your own life so that you have the confidence and the faith and the trust in your own ability to manifest your best life to go and do that and fulfill whatever that looks like. So if it looks like, moving to a cabin in the woods, if it looks like moving to a high rise in New York City, if it looks like moving to Vancouver, if it looks like moving to Quebec, if it looks like moving to Europe, moving to Australia, moving to South Africa, moving to China, moving to Costa Rica, moving to Mexico, like whatever, moving to Utah, like, I don't know, whatever your version of living your best life is. I hope that one of the things you get from following along with my journey and letting me be open and honest with you about what it looks like to go through such a transition is that you understand that you can do it too. Like, I'm not special. I'm not doing anything that you can't do. I have not manifested anything that you can't manifest. Yes, I have a successful online business. Yes, I am the breadwinner in my family. Yes, we have family to help us when we get where we're going. Yes, we've had family to help us this entire time. But all of that was created because of the vibrations we were giving off. So a lot of what got me here is the work that I've already been doing, which is, you'll find other videos on my channel about those things. And I will continue to make other videos about those things. And I will also leave a link below to my Facebook group where you're welcome to join me. And I will also leave a link below for my monthly membership called Becoming You, which goes into, we go into self-development through monthly meditation, weekly journaling prompts, and daily affirmations to affirm and reaffirm our own magic, basically. Okay. And so thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I would love it if you, like I said, would hit the like button so that we're working with the algorithms of social media. And you might as well hit the subscribe button so that you're notified when I have new videos. And you might as well hit the little bell while you're down there so that you get a push notification that I do have a new vlog published, because I would love for you to follow along, basically in real time, more or less, and be part of this process with me, because it's a crazy trip. And I am very honored and grateful that the universe put me in a position where not only I'm able to do what I'm doing, but I'm in a position where I'm able to share it with you as well. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I look forward to hanging out with you again very soon. Take care.